It started with the wind, not a storm, not a typhoon, just a strange, sudden gust of wind that came from nowhere and knocked over the fishing nets drying outside. The villagers didn't think much of it. Winds come and go. But the dogs began barking at the jungle, and they didn't stop. Yuta, 13 years old, noticed it first. That evening, as he sat on the wooden steps of his family's hut, he watched his father's old boat slowly rocking in the harbor. It was tied tightly, the rope looped 3 times. His father was always careful. Yet now, as the sky turned orange, the boat drifted away from the dock. That shouldn't be possible. He ran to the pier shouting for help, but the village was unusually quiet. Only the waves answered him. The boat was already in the middle of the bay by the time anyone came running. But no one had untied it. No one had touched it. The wind wasn't strong enough to pull it, it just moved. That night, the village head, Pa Dargo, told everyone to stay indoors. "Something feels wrong," he said quietly. "The jungle is whispering again." No one laughed, because they all remembered the last time the jungle whispered. It was the year before Yuta was born, when the earth cracked and half the banana plantation was swallowed whole in a single night. 11 people died. The jungle had been silent ever since, until now. As night fell, Yuta lay in bed but couldn't sleep. The dogs barked again, louder this time. His parents stood at the window whispering. Then came the sound that froze everyone, the beating of drums, from deep within the trees. The village had no drums. The drums didn't follow a rhythm. They pounded slowly like a heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. And they were coming from the jungle where no one ever dared to go after dark. Yuta's mother clutched his father's arm. "What is that?" she whispered. His father didn't answer. He just reached for the machete he kept under the bed. "Stay inside," he told them. "Lock the door, no matter what you hear." Then he stepped outside. Yuta wanted to follow, but his mother held him back. Her hands were trembling. Outside, other villagers were doing the same, peeking out, locking doors, whispering prayers. Some elders wept. One woman fainted, and still the drums continued. At exactly midnight, everything stopped. No wind, no drums, no barking dogs, no sounds at all. Even the insects went silent. Then, from the far end of the village, near the jungle's edge, came a different sound. Screaming. One voice at first. A man's. Then 2. Then 5. Then silence. Yuta couldn't breathe. He looked at his mother. Her lips moved in a prayer, eyes shut tight. "Please let this be a dream," she whispered. Suddenly, all the oil lamps in the village flickered at once, then died out. Darkness swallowed everything. Something was moving outside. Yuta heard it. Footsteps, wet and slow, slapping against the muddy ground. Then out scraping, like something was being dragged, or someone. He backed away from the window. Then, without warning, someone knocked 3 times on their door. Knock, knock, knock. No voice, no name, just the knocks. His mother held her breath. No one moved. Then Yuta, heart racing, whispered the question that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Who would knock? After the village disappeared, the knocks never came again. Just those 3. And then, nothing. Yuta and his mother stayed frozen in place for what felt like hours. His mother didn't cry. She didn't even blink. She just kept staring at the door as if it might breathe. When the faint light of dawn began to seep through the cracks in the wooden walls, Yuta finally dared to move. He stepped toward the window, heart pounding. The village looked wrong. The ground was soaked as if it had rained heavily, though the sky had stayed clear all night. The paths were covered in muddy footprints, circling homes, doubling back, weaving around trees. Some prints were barefoot. Some looked like claws. Most of the doors to the other huts were wide open. Yuta's father hadn't returned. Neither had any of the men who went out the night before. He turned to his mother, but she was still standing in the same spot. "Stay here," Yuta said softly, not even sure why the words came from his mouth. She didn't answer. The moment Yuta stepped outside, the silence struck him again. He couldn't hear birds, waves, or even the wind. Just his own footsteps. He moved from house to house. No one answered. Inside the homes, beds were empty. Food was half-eaten. A pot of tea still steamed as if someone had just poured it. But not a single soul was found. Then he reached Pak Dargo's house. The front door was shut. Yuta knocked. No answer. He slowly opened it. Pak Dargo was there, sitting on the floor facing the wall. His eyes were open. His lips were moving. But no sound came out. Yuta stepped closer. "Pak," the old man slowly turned his head. His pupils were completely white and etched into the wooden wall in front of him using something sharp, maybe a nail, maybe a bone, were 4 words, carved over and over. "We were not alone." Yuta stumbled backward from Pak Dargo's house, nearly tripping over a broken basket on the ground. The old man didn't follow. He just kept whispering into the wall, scratching the same 4 words with his fingernails again and again, even as they bled. "We were not alone." Yuta ran. He ran past the empty huts, past the footprints, past the boat that had returned to the dock without anyone steering it. He didn't stop until he reached the beach, the place where he always felt safest. But even here something was wrong. The sand was marked not by footsteps, by symbols. Strange spiral-like carvings covered the entire shoreline. They weren't random. They looked intentional. Repeated patterns like ancient writing, like warnings. Then he saw it. A row of handprints, small ones, as if made by children. But they had too many fingers. 6, maybe 7 on each hand. They were pressed deep into the wet sand, trailing off into the water, as if something had crawled out of the sea during the night. He wanted to scream, but no sound came. Suddenly from behind, he heard something, a voice, a child's voice, laughing. He spun around. No one was there, but the jungle was closer than before. Yuta blinked. No, not closer, taller. The trees now seemed to stretch unnaturally high into the sky, as if they had grown overnight. Their trunks were darker, almost black, and the air around them shimmered like heat waves. Then the laughter came again, closer this time. Yuta turned and ran home, his feet slipping in the mud, heart racing, lungs burning. When he burst through the door, his mother was gone. The hut was empty. But the door had never been opened. No signs of struggle, no blood, no sound. Only one thing remained. A piece of cloth, his mother's headscarf, lay folded neatly on the bed, with a single word written on it in charcoal run.